Deb here, and I want to welcome you to a very special edition of Deb's Doll Room. Today I'm going to talk about Partridge Family dolls. Well, there was only two Partridge Family dolls, but a little background. You know I'm kind of starstruck. I have a lot of heroes. David Cassidy's the number one for me. Possibly because of the time he came along. I discovered him before the Partridge Family. He was doing guest stars roles, and he did Bonanza, and then Adam 12 I think was the next night. I was hooked, totally hooked. Anyway, they didn't make a David Cassidy doll. Well, they started to make one in '74, but by then Donny Osmond was the main teen idol, and David had mentioned he was going to leave the show, and they never issued the doll. There are prototypes out there somewhere, but unfortunately they never issued a David Cassidy doll. I've seen some artist dolls, but I've talked to David Cassidy 9 times. I started counting, and I swear I wasn't a stalker. He was nice to me every single time. So, and this is one of the times. It was in 1990, I believe. They did make color forms, and I do have Partridge Family paper dolls, but they're stored away and it's kind of hard to get to them, but I'll show them to you someday. So, but they did do, there's a color form, and I'm sure he must have been highly embarrassed at this, but I'm pretty sure it's not him. I mean, it's his face, obviously, but, and it's quite some really, there's a little color form checkoff list, and some really groovy clothes. Looks like most of the pieces are here. And they made, I think it was called Patty Partridge, which was supposed to be Tracy Partridge's doll, but I've never seen one of those. I've just heard of it. The Partridge Family, September 25th will mark the 50th anniversary of the debut. That's why this is so special to me. I do have a Laurie Partridge, and there's a really sweet story. If you want to hear my sweet story, let's look at the doll first. She was issued by Remco in 1973. She looks quite a bit like Susan Day, and she even has her little partridge still attached. I didn't get her with shoes. I got her at, oh, that's the story I was going to tell you. That was a lady I used to work with who was kind of gruff and tough, and people didn't really like her very much, but I could just see there was good in her. And I just treated her like she was nice to me, whether she was or she wasn't. And then one day she said, I want to take you somewhere and show you something. And it was a doll museum I didn't know existed. She was not a doll collector, but she wanted to see me see the museum, and it was extraordinary. And that doll museum had a gift shop. So the lady said, well, what kind of dolls are you interested in? I said, celebrity dolls mostly. And she said, I think I have a Laurie Partridge back there, and I'm trying not to act like a teenager. So she brings her out, and she's in perfect condition. And I said, I don't suppose you have the box, do you? And she said, oh yeah, I think it is back there. And there it is, box and all. Picture of the Partridge bus on it. She was made in 1973. Why didn't they do the David Cassidy the same year? What was wrong with these people? Oh, I loved that show. I just loved it. This doll originally came with a poster of David and Susan Day, and but it didn't come with a poster. But I'm not complaining, because I got it for very little money. I couldn't believe a doll museum would sell this doll for, I think it was 30 bucks. But anyway, she's mine. And I love this show. As I said, it premiered September 25th, 1970, which is also Mark Hamill's birthday. I think he was born in 51. Anyway, he was a guest star on the Partridge Family, so every year, ever since I had videotapes, I watched that episode of the Partridge Family on the 25th. So, guess what I'll be doing on the 25th? But I love this doll. I love that show. It meant the world to me because that was a time, you know, I said I discovered him before the Partridge Family, but shortly after that we moved to a small town and kids didn't like us much because we were city kids, and so, you know, you gotta have escapism, and the Partridge Family was mine. The music, the show, seeing him in concert. I saw him in concert several times, and then on stage when he was doing stage plays. I wish he could have stuck with that because he was extraordinary on stage. First show he played after the Partridge Family, it was a police story, and he was nominated for an Emmy. Who knows if he'd have got that Emmy, how that might have changed his life. And people that I work with knew how much I loved him, and when he passed away, some of my friends brought me some candy and this little bear, who I named Bruce because David Cassidy's middle name was Bruce, and I bought him some puka shells, which, if you're familiar with David Cassidy, puka shells was part of his trademark. And this little bear reminds me of my friends who cared that I was hurting. So anyway, my friend took me to that doll museum. I got Laurie Partridge, so every time I think she has passed, not Laurie, not Susan Day, but my friend passed away, and every time I look at this doll, I remember that wonderful day we spent. And don't give up on people just because they seem tough on the outside. Maybe there's something good on the inside. And I'm sure glad I didn't. So this is my Laurie Partridge doll, my David Cassidy obsession, which will never end. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you don't mind my little stories because it's important to me to share, especially about David Cassidy. And I hope you have a groovy day. I hope you like, subscribe, comment, and follow me on Instagram. So until next time, toodles. If you happen to see this show before September 24th, Ron's Record Shop on Memory Lane Oldies is doing a special about the Partridge Family, David Cassidy, other members of the Cassidy family, and I think there might even be a Danny Bonaducci song in there somewhere. So that's on September 24th from 5 to 9 Eastern Time. I will put a link below.